I'm Richard Rogers. I was born in Florence. Mr. Rogers influenced me to become an architect. And then I went on to Yale, and then I met Norman Foster. Really big influences were, one, Frank Lloyd Wright, and then the case study houses in California, especially Soriano, Charles Eames. Take those two for instance, but there are a whole group of them in San Francisco, and they gave us a way of looking and influencing us. I've been trying to work in Florence for the last 40 years without much success. Then about a few years ago, the mayor of Scandicci approached me and said, would I look at the tramvia? And that was really the main reason for doing this development. The tramvia and the fact that Scandicci itself was a dormitory town.
Our original involvement with Scandicci was all about the level of a master plan. The mayor came to us to say we've got this tram in the future that's going to connect us to Florence, and we want to be able to respond as a suburb to improve our environment and create a sort of sense of place. One of the projects, of course, was the centre, actually really building on an existing void.
Scandicci è una città cresciuta molto rapidamente negli anni 50 e 60 come città a grossa prevalenza residenziale. Era il classico esempio di città dormitorio.
Perché è nata negli anni per quartieri e non aveva un centro vero. Ecco, il progetto di Rogers va in questa direzione qui, cioè dare alla città un cuore, un'anima, e è davvero, come dire, la parola definitiva sull'essere città, cioè sull'essere una nuova centralità della grande Firenze e soprattutto portare a Firenze un intervento di architettura contemporanea.
There is a view that Richard Rogers is fundamentally an Italian architect. He was born there. His cousin Ernesto Rogers was one of the most well-known and successful Italian architects of the 50s and 60s. And there's a kind of circle in that. Ernesto Rogers, as the editor of Domus, wrote a very famous editorial in the years of Italian post-war reconstruction, where he urged the architect's role as not confining itself to the building, but to take in all aspects of life. As he put it, from the city to the spoon. It's a phrase which I've always found fascinating, and I think it's also something that has actually inspired Richard Rogers.
Questa zona qui è molto importante, specialmente importante oggi perché c'è la tranvia. Una volta quando siamo venuti qui, insomma, 12 anni fa, non mi ricordo più, molti anni fa, era un'area che era veramente un dormitorio più di tutto. Non c'era la sola ragione per venire qui perché le cose costavano un po' di meno, eccetera, ma non era un vero pezzo di città. Adesso con la tranvia, con tutte queste costruzioni, con gli uffici, con la piazza, questo è molto importante, la piazza, tutto questo comincia a dire che questa è una città, non è una cosa, un pezzo fuori, e questo per me è molto importante.
In terms of, this is a project we have in China, which is ongoing at the moment, Chongqing, big city-state, only 33 million people. In recent history, it was an active centre. And then a road system went around. So a client came to us and they wanted us to build around it and bring back a city centre to it. And so this is really a big version of Scandicci, It's got lots of connections, there are railway lines and subways underneath it, there's a piazza, there's some residential, there's some commercial, there's a hotel. So there's a density here which really responds to the density of people and the desire to be in the city centre.
In questo master plan abbiamo cercato di inserire all'interno di questo tessuto tutta una serie di funzioni invece non residenziali che ha un alto mix funzionale e quindi le diverse funzioni, soprattutto abitare, lavorare e giocare, divertirsi, convivono. Questa compresenza di più funzioni consente alle persone di spostarsi a piedi. La città diffusa è una città in cui ogni funzione trova una collocazione distante dalle altre e quindi impone l'uso del mezzo privato, dell'automobile. Oggi è inutile dirlo, questo modello non è più sostenibile.
Cities are for people and people need activities. I've always believed, and that's why I love cities. Cities are the most complex thing that mankind has in terms of design. The principles driving a compact city is, first of all, that there should be density at the centre. That brings vitality, that it should be live, work, leisure, that it should be well connected, by which I mean a net of public transport, walking, cycling, that it should be for poor and rich, that it should have well designed, and of course the public spaces are the critical part of any city. That has been historical, from Hellenic Athens onwards. I spend my summers next to Pienza. It's a perfect, especially the old part of Pienza, it's a perfect compact city. Now with the car, everything sprawls, everything. We destroy the green and we destroy the city. The green and the city are the two sides of the same coin.
We're very interested in developing and allowing cities to develop from the core, and to limit expansion of cities. And so looking for space in the city, and there's lots of space usually in cities. We call it brownfield land which is unused or underused, and then bringing density into those parts through good design. We think you can build the density of a city up so that it actually matches people's desire, which is, these days is to move into cities, not away from cities, because cities is where the life is.
It's interesting how one could see really only two fundamental approaches to what cities can be. There are those who accept the idea of sprawl and suburbia and accept that the world is a messy place and that the city is not a work of art and can't be turned into a beautiful piece of sculpture. And then there is another view which says that the city is a fantastic creation. It's about conviviality, it's about people coming together and making it a compact and dense place which keeps its original DNA alive and intact. And Richard's voice has been one of the strongest, despite his reputation as being quite a determined modernist in architecture expression. His ideas about cities can be traced back to Camillo Sitte, to that sense that cities are artifacts which are experienced socially.
When we started the practice after the Pompidou Centre with Renzo Piano, we decided we wanted a certain quality of life. And I've always believed that quality of life is critical and that there's more to architecture than architecture. In other words, it's a much more complex element. It's not just building buildings. We create a community, and we hope that that community affects a much broader element. And we believe in that quality of life. And I don't any longer believe in the idea that architects have to work 90 hours a week. I think I go around the office sometimes and say to people working very late, don't you have a home to go to?